Placing an order in our database requires data from the user. As we saw before, we have this JSON data where the user, after doing the checkout, he will place the order in our database. So what we need first to create a POST request in Orders API, we have already a GET request. We need to create now a POST request. To not repeat the same process which we did before, let's copy the simplest POST request which we created in categories, and we go here to categories POST request and copy it and paste it in our orders. So what is required from us, we need to create a model of order and the fields of the order where we have before and created the schema. So let's assume the simplest case as the user will send the data. So here we get the data. I paste them quickly to not repeat the same process. So we have from the user the order items all comes with the body of the request, which is this one here. So we have order items and all the data which are sent by the user from the front end. Let's fix this stuff here. I'm teaching you the way how to code fast. So we don't have to write again everything regarding the order, because you know we have always POST request, we have always delete request, so it's better to copy it from basic request and change the, for example, the namings to fit on our new API. So here we have order, everything now order, and send back the created order. But if you remember, we have created order items table. So the user doesn't know in the front end that the order items which are stored in the database. So he will just send this data. He wants 3 times of this product and 2 times of this product. But for fetching this data and storing them for the admin, this will be like, for example, we can say an obstacle, a small obstacle to get them again from the database. But we will solve that with Mongoose during this relation between order and order items. So when the user or the POST request is sent or created, we have to create the order items first in the database and then attach them or relate them to the order request which we have here. And as we saw previously, that order items, it's array of IDs from order item table. So in this case, we need array of IDs which are in the database of those order items. So first we need to create those IDs, or how Mongoose will create them for me, and then I will store them with the order or relate them to that order. So here we will not get from the user directly the order item which is containing the product and the quantity. No, we need only array of IDs. So we can say order items IDs, and this order item IDs will come from our created order items in the database, which we will do here. So we have this const order item IDs, which we will get them from after the creation of order item in the database. So we need somehow first to loop inside the order items which are sent from the user. So I will say request.body.order items. To loop, always we use map, because we know that the user will send array of order items. And here we will have order item, one order item, and then inside this order item we create let new order item, new order item model. So order item model, we need to have it from our model's order item. It's exactly like we are creating a new category or a new product, or it's like a POST request. So I say here order item, what are the fields in the order item? We have quantity and a product. So I go here, I say quantity. So we have already one order item from the list of the order items which the user sent. So I say here order item dot quantity, and also product, which will contain the product ID. So from order item dot product. Then we need to save this item in the database. So I say let, or the new order item, the same variable, we can use it, await a new order item, which we created previously, or the model, and dot save. So here we are saving the order item in the database. So when we loop in order items, so for every order item, I will save it in the database. But I want this map to return for me only the IDs. So here I say return not the new order item, but the new order item dot ID. So in this case, we will get only the IDs in an array. So we created the order IDs and we attached them to the order, and we are going to save the order. Let's not save it now in the database. Let's just send the order which is created, or the order model, to the front end, to the user after he posts a request. So let's try that with Postman. I go to the Postman and I replace this with orders based on our API, how we created it. And then I will put here the data. Let's first renew the authentication token, and then the body. We have this JSON, for example. I am already getting these IDs from our database. So we must have these IDs in the database already. Let's send the post request. We see that we got an error. The error comes, let's see in the console of our test server or of our server, we will see that we have here await. This is because we have here await, but this requires an async function. I mean here. So here we have await, and this requires an async function. So in this case, we cannot do await inside a normal function. We need to place an async. Our function basically is this one. So I will say here async and save and try again. And we will see that the request is created, or the order is created, but the order items are empty. Let's track these order items to see why they are not created. To track them, we can do console log of order items IDs. And let's see in the console what it will return for us. So here I saved, and then let's try again. And let's check the console. We will see that we have returned 2 promises. So we are not returning actually the ID, we are returning a promises. This because we have here async function and await, and we are returning with await a promise. So somehow we need to resolve those promises. Because the user is sending an array of order items, not only one, so we have to combine those promises together. So here we have an array of promises. To combine them, I use promise.all. So here in this case, I will have a returned promises, or one promise, which will be resolved after that here before we create the order. So let's try to console it again. We see that we got one promise, not 2 promises as before. So we need to resolve this promise. How we can resolve it? We can create a new constant, call it order IDs only, or order items IDs, for example, resolved. Because this is a promise, so I can say here await for this to be resolved, and then print those for me. And then I replace this order items ID with the resolved order items IDs. Let's try again. That's great. We got them again. And in the console log, we have the 2 IDs which are created of our order items. Let's check that in the database. After logging in, I see here order items table is created. I didn't create that table. Atlas is very smart. So based on the model I created in my database or in my code, it's creating the table for me. So here, if I go to order items, I will see 2 order items which are created based on the postman, and they have the same ID, which are in the database. So now we are ready to create our order. So here we don't have anything, so we don't have order table. That's because we commented out this save. So here, after the order is created or saved, then I will resend it back. Let's remove also this console log to not have our log full of unnecessary data. So here I will go now to the postman, place an order. Great, we have now created an order, and we have here the new ID is created of the order. So if I go to Atlas again, I will refresh, and we will see that orders table is created automatically because we have order model. So when I ask Mongoose to create for me this order model, then he created the table. So here we have order items, object ID of the new order items which are created again here. So every time I place the order, I create a new order items. In the next lecture, we will see how to get order items or the order itself more detailed way. So we will not get only IDs, we will get more detailed. We will see the order item, what it contains, and also everything, for example, which user created it, not only IDs.